Hi, I'm Jeff from AMIGO, and I'm here to teach you how to play Escape from the Hidden Castle. Escape from the Hidden Castle is a game that's been in the market for many years, invented by a gentleman by the name of Wolfgang Kramer. Wolfgang Kramer is the person who has won more Game of the Year awards than any other game inventor. This is based on a game that he invented many years ago called Midnight Party. He's gone back and redone the instructions to make it a more interesting gameplay experience. We've included the original instructions for Midnight Party in our instruction booklet as well, but at the same time, we suggest that you start with these rules. We think they're a little bit more fun. To start the game, punch out all of the pieces and place them into the playing piece stands, just like this. The next thing you're going to do is put together the Phantom. Punch out the Phantom piece, fold it over, and then put one clip on this side for his shoulder and the other clip on this side. That's going to turn the Phantom into a grabber, which means that as the game goes on, the Phantom's going to capture players and banish them to the dungeon. For now, though, the Phantom starts in the dungeon. So we're going to put him on the bottom of the staircase on the blue shield. Depending on the number of players playing this time, you'll want them to use a different number of players and different colors for the game. So we've actually given you a nice little chart right here in the beginning of the instructions that tells you how to play. I've set this up for a 4-player version. The next thing we do is take the scoring tokens and put them on the board, one for each player. We put them on the number 10. We've made the space red so you'll know which space to put the scoring tokens on. The next thing we're going to do is, starting with the youngest player, take turns putting your playing pieces onto the board. They go onto the track. You're allowed to put 1 player per space. I've already set a bunch of these up. We're now going to put the final pieces on. So turquoise would put the piece there, blue may go there, yellow goes there, red goes there. The last thing you need to do is to place the Phantom token onto the clocks. We start with the first clock, which is right here. It has the number 3 on it. It says quarter to 12. That's going to tell us how many spaces the Phantom moves when the Phantom moves. Now you're all set up and ready to start playing. The youngest player goes first by rolling the die. The object of the game is to get the lowest number of points. So you're going to roll the die. You're either going to get a number or the Phantom. When you roll the Phantom, you look to the token sitting on the clock, and that tells you how many spaces the Phantom moves on this turn. So in this particular instance, the Phantom, we're on the first clock, the Phantom moves 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Starts moving up the stairs of the dungeon. Pretty soon the Phantom's going to escape the dungeon and start chasing the guests around the board. If you roll a Phantom, that's your move. You don't get to move one of your pieces as well. But if you roll a number, you get to move one of your pieces, the number shown on the die. So let's pretend that yellow got a 5. The yellow moves 1 piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Next player's turn. One good way to escape the Phantom is to race ahead of him. Another good way is to duck into one of the rooms on the board. In order to duck into a room, you enter through the doorways that are printed on the spaces of the gallery. Some of the rooms also help you in terms of taking points off your score. So for example, there are a couple that are -3. There's also one that's +1. When you move into a room that has a -3, you have to move on an exact roll, and moving into the room counts as 1 extra space. So for example, if I'm here, I need a 3, 1, 2, 3, to enter the room. As the game goes on, the Phantom's going to move. The Phantom's going to move every time the Phantom is rolled, suddenly enter the gallery and start chasing the guests. Every time the Phantom passes or lands on the same space as another piece, it's going to move it up to the next available space on the staircase, and that player is going to get that number of points. Remember, the object of the game is to get the smallest number of points. If you move your piece past the Phantom doesn't catch you. But if you move your piece and it lands on the same space as the Phantom, then the Phantom does catch you. So you want to make sure you don't end your turn on the same space as the Phantom. As the game goes on, the Phantom captures more and more players, and the steps will fill up. Once all the steps are full, the next player that's captured goes on the bottom step again and loses 10 points. At some point during the game, you may bump into a situation where all of your players are in rooms or on the stairs. If that's the case, you still must move when you roll a number on the die. You can either move one of your players out of a room, or you can start to move your players off of the staircase. To move your players off of the staircase, they always start by counting this space with the arrow on it as number 1. They don't count the other the other stair steps. They only count the space with the arrow on it as number 1, and then they continue going in a clockwise direction. Once a player is in a room, they can stay in that room for as long as they like, except another player can bump them out. So if this player is here and rolls a 2, 1, 2, it bumps this player back out onto the doorway and potentially into the Phantom's path. Every time the Phantom moves past the red arrow, including the very first time when he's moving off the staircase, you move the Phantom token 1 clock forward. The clocks have numbers printed on them, and those numbers tell you how many spaces the Phantom moves when you roll the Phantom on the die. So for example, we start at 3 spaces, but then we're going to move to 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. So the Phantom's going to move faster and faster as the game goes on, meaning the guests have to move faster and faster to stay ahead of the Phantom. The game ends when one of two things happens. Either the Phantom captures the last guest and put that guest on the stairs, there are no more guests in play, or the Phantom token advances to the very last clock, at which point the game is over. You look at the scoring track, the player with the fewest number of points wins. That player escapes the hidden castle, the rest of the players are banished to the dungeons forever. If you have any questions on these rules, if there's anything else we can help with, please give us a call. Area code 844-962-6446. That's 844-YO-AMIGO. We will answer any questions on the gameplay or anything else that we can help you with. Thanks so much for your support for our games. Hope you enjoy the game.